what comes into GOATS is a less visceral style of skill set, a less visceral skill set that comes into this one, right?
Yeah, and I think there's a really good example in this last season, actually, where British Hurricane, Season 1 winners came out on top, looked fantastic. Coming to Season 2, he falls straight down into trials because they couldn't...
He's trying to assassinate us for spilling the secrets on just taking shots around roughly where Kiev is.
He's like, there it is, get them.
They're revealing all the secrets of GOATS.
But yeah, for Hurricane last season, they said themselves, you know, communication had changed massively when GOATS came into the meta because it wasn't so much call out a single target like with Dive anymore. There was a lot of communication you have to pass between the team, which is why you see things like Zarya standing off to the left and right-hand side of the Rhine shield, is so you have more perspectives on a fight, can gather more information, and your team can react better. That's where teams can often struggle to adapt, as we saw with Hurricane, but over time they've come back into it. That's exactly why they are back here in Contenders for Season 3.
Thinking of adaptation, look at this. They're moving over to the Pharah, and of course Casper dropping the Widowmaker with these long sight lines.
I love this because all this range they've got here is almost uncounterable. They can't respond to it on the side of HSL. They've got a Junkrat for being able to deal with tanks. Well, you've got a Pharah from long range, a Widowmaker taking you out as soon as you step away from a shield. They've already abandoned their high ground position and gone, you know what, we can't stay here, let's pull back a bit more. They've even gone back inside cover just to try and negate some of those rockets.
Someone's already on the point getting capture progress. They're about to give up that first third of the pie. Nice delay there with the concussive blast to knock back the support onto Progi. And they've got control of the point. They have everything they need to cap this all the way. Just need to walk forward. Sardis now, he's taken out Casper, so that's one of the damage threats gone. But what are they going to do to shut down Leaf, who's just absolutely raining havoc from above, taking out anyone who goes into the point. That is a very quick, clean, and calculated take from Morningstars.
Progi's name might sound like Poggy, but it was anything but in that defense. I think all of them got completely rolled over by the other side there. Some great picks, I've got to admit. Leaf on that Pharah, we're seeing Pharah start to come back into things a lot more in Contenders. Saw quite a lot of it last week too. They might straight roll over the second point here as well.
He's got a barrage and he's going to knock, beautiful. He knocked him off the high ground with a concussive blast and concussive mine. Jed's just knock him straight back into position. Tech36 doing what he needs to do. That is the answer in the form of the D.Va to go up there and take out Leaf. Riptide comes in, doesn't find anyone. Casper and Dragon Eddy still getting kills, and D-Mex Dredro bringing Leaf back into the fight. Mercy basically relegated to only be existing in these Pharah compositions as Leaf not going to find anyone with the barrage, but now that he's potentially going to go down without the ultimate, assuming that Morningstars don't get this capture completed, we might see Leaf switch over to something else here to help the team. But they're going to commit to this push a little bit more. That's going to be Brigitte going down. Surely no, she gets away. That shouldn't be happening here. And look at the healing and the support that comes out onto Sardis to keep him alive. That's going to be HSL Esports holding on to this point. Giving away 2/3 over to Morningstars, though. Not a lot of capture progress to go.
Twitch, don't execute me if I get this wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 15 armor per 0.5 seconds on the Brigitte. Alongside the passive healing you get, it makes her very, very hardy when you're trying to kill her when that ultimate is active. I guarantee I'll fluff those numbers up somewhere. But either way, she's very hard to kill. Who'd have thought?
Nearly identical compositions coming out here, except Morningstars are moving on to the Ana flavor of GOATS.
They're keeping the Ana, not so much moving on to it. They're keeping it because that nano boost is online. They want to use this probably on a high charge Caspier, for example, because you'll be kicking out almost 300 DPS when he's got that charge online. But there's a huge EMP about to get dropped on the whole team.
That's going to really shut down everything that GOATS is all about, which is using and layering those abilities as Tech36 finds that double kill with the self-destruct and chases down Leaf afterwards. Another huge shutdown from HSL. Only 2 ults burnt to make that happen.
An extra rough burn. I think it was kind of a do or die kind of thing there where they had to burn the ultimate out. I imagine here he's going to switch over to the Zen. I'd be surprised if he sticks on it.
Yep,
there we go. Going to move over. Now they do have time, so what they could potentially look to do here is get the Transcendence online, because that responds to a lot of threats that the Mirror GOATS competition could bring out. Hidana's got his online, so don't expect Morningstars to win this next fight unless HSL have a horrific misplay, should we say. They're
going to have to try and cycle through these ultimates to get there.
Zeke, beautiful!
Zeke just had an eat and grab, I believe, there, but he's still going to take out Leaf.
Great response there was Leaf came in for the stun, started straight away, bam, got the counter stun down, he died in no time at all. Now they can push forward and win this fight.
Progi getting a double kill, Casper and Malzaza being taken out, so HSL Esports going to retain control. But every engagement Morningstars takes, they get closer and closer to getting ults online. That really is the game changer here. It's a war of attrition. And the commodity that is being burnt in all of this is time.
Absolutely. They're down to half time, I suppose you could say here, with 4 minutes remaining of the total possible 8 that you can have. Either way, things are going to go slow. They're going to want to build up these ultimates. They know that they're already playing into the favor of HSL, who've been playing GOATS for a bit longer here, so have got the ult economy rolling in their favor. Morningstars are looking for a couple of big ones to come online, the Transcendence being one of them. Then they can start taking these fights to win.
They've got to remember they still haven't got Hidan to burn his. Going to send a self-destruct right into the back. I like that angle. Very ambitious, but it doesn't find anything. Malzahar running straight into Progi. Transcendence is being layered on top of each other. Look how close they are to getting that capture. 99.7%. Those charges coming in at the last second to make that happen. Graviton Surge, self-destruct on the point for the clearance. Zeke finding a double kill. Hidan making that free, really giving the advantage over to HSL Esports. We're going to sub 3-minute time bank, 0.3% in it. For HSL Esports defense.
I genuinely thought HSL had thrown that one away there when I saw that ticker going up uncontested, but just managed to get on the point and funnily enough come out on top again. They had that Transcendence. Extract did build his up as well and managed to use it in that fight too. Morning Stars now have got 3 ultimates to play with and 3 pretty big ones at that. Both can lead into combos of their own.
Need to find that damage to be layered on top of it. Dragon Eddy not got the self-destruct, but Casper, if he gets high energy enough and you put Malzahar in the front line swinging that hammer, you're going to output enough damage to really follow up on it. He's got the Shatter moving forward. Sound Barrier being used early by Morning Stars. They're going to layer that Graviton Surge.
Great Sound Barrier.
It's going to be there. Self-destruct on the point. Here's Graviton Surge, pulls them together, but they had clearance from the self-destruct, so you don't have to worry about it going down. Puts that straight into Progi's shield. Interesting decision. Unable to get that Shatter combo off, unfortunately, as they're sitting in the trans of HSL Esports. Looks like it's going to be a one fight, especially when Malzahar going down. Progi layering his own Earth Shatter onto Morning Stars, and you can tell by what Casper's doing right now, they're just backing out. They know they haven't won this fight.
It was unfortunate for Morning Stars because Malzahar with that Shatter had the right idea, but Leaf was a bit too far off to the right. I think he got booped away, so he couldn't actually get onto the enemy Ryan and get that bash down. This just plays further into that narrative we've mentioned all series long around what you're trying to do is almost counter combos coming at you with your own combos, which might have counter combos on top of them. It's like a game of chess, just trying to constantly outsmart and outthink your opponent, and in some cases, bait them into making a bad move, which is what can end fights so quickly.
I think I like to define it by forced and unforced errors, right?
Exactly.
It's what you're doing, what mistakes are you making, and what mistakes are you forced into. Morning Stars taking the defensive position away from HSL Esports, trying to force an error on their part where they have to retake the round they previously held. They're not going to fall into the trap though. Progi and Hidan kicking things off, and Hidan again with another frag onto Casper as they're clearing out the rest of Morning Stars. Not to be thrown off by that positional switch. 1 minute remaining. And only a third of the pie to take.
So coming into that, I thought we were going to see HSL use the Graviton self-destruct combo to win that fight. They didn't need to, though, because Morning Stars got themselves demet pretty early on. Dragon Eddy a bit too exposed, you might say. And this is something we thought about Danny in the last series we saw with Young and Beautiful playing, was that often he would get himself caught out completely alone. The same thing happened to Eddie there, so now they've got to go for it again. They're not too far off their own combos, though, Morning Stars. So in this case, they either lose this fight quickly or they commit, build ultimates, and then go for a big combo at the end.
Long game fights. They have got double support ultimates to keep them in it and build towards those more damage and utility-orientated ultimates. But here's Graviton Surge, pulls them together, self-destruct, weaving to the backline, charge is good to find Dredro and take out the sound barrier from this pivotal final fight. And you're going to have Leaf going down, Shatter, unable to land. They even cancelled the ultimate with the follow-up shield bash. Malzahar is not allowed to play Overwatch today. And with 10 seconds on the clock, I think HSL have done enough to deny the complete from Morning Stars.
They absolutely have, and a huge play from Sardis at the end there. You called it. He got booped up immediately, and then straight after got stunned as the Earth Shadow was coming down. It got cancelled out. I gave a lot of props to Flippy for doing this last week on British Hurricane. He interrupted 3 Shatters, but when one is all that counts, you can't complain.
You want to talk about denials as well? Sardis as well at the end there. You saw Dredro going in there with the sound barrier to try and trigger overtime and buy some time for his team to get back. But he was stunned, cancelled out the ult. Rocket Flare Whip knocked him back off the point, and there was enough damage to kill him, shutting down another ult that could potentially have bought more time for HSL to actually lose that map and give away that full completion. But how heart-wrenching is that, Des? 99.7%.
What can this hero not do? All I can say,
Which one?
Right? Brigitte. Heals, armor under shields, stunning people like Earth Shadows, booping away anyone trying to get to the point for a final-ditch effort. This is why she is so pivotal to a lot of the comps you're seeing in Europe, is she has so much in her kit that makes her useful in any situation.
It is really the enabler of the GOAT's composition. We didn't really see this 3-3 come to fruition until after Brigitte was released, right?
We saw quite a lot of 3-3 before. Ninjas in Pyjamas, the first real innovators of that comp, where they brought out Roadhog. Anna instead was their go-to comp. But over time, it's kind of morphed a little bit as well. We saw Quad Tank become quite a big thing. We remember that from the old days. Wouldn't be too surprised.
Is Season 1 old days?
I was about to say, if the old days. Mate, at this point, the game's been out since, what, 2016 came out of beta?
Yeah, maybe.
That's when we see a lot of pro play start kind of kicking anyway, where we really started to see the kind of metas form as it might be. And these days it's all changing up a bit. Now, Roadholt's got some changes coming soon, which might give a return to quad tank, but we will save that one for a rainy day.
That's another problem to worry about.
That's a whole other problem for teams to be concerned with.
Anyway, we're on now to the offense of HSL Esports. They know if they just complete the map, it literally is 0.3% unit to complete the map.
Oh, it's so
They'll
tight.
take this map and actually keep the series alive for map 4, because obviously if Morningstars win this map, then they've won the series, right? But you're still just fighting for pride on that 4th final map. Malzaza going to get a little bit of lightning damage, and his leaf from the Doomfist wants to interrupt the tank-heavy composition. They're going for the dive ball composition, the extremely mobile version of Goats that we see with Hidan on that Moira.
Yeah, the 6-0 almost Goats you might want to call it as well, because they do literally, in fact, all Goats, they go right in, but look at that, Zeke's already found Mozasa.
Without that monkey there, I don't know what you're going to do for a tank line. Progi shutting down Leaf, not going to be deterred by the threat that Doomfist is to tank-based compositions. Exoraf getting a D-Mech, and you're going to chase down Dragon Eddie because Sardis is D-robed the diva himself, shall we say.
Caspi is lurking up top here, but I don't think he'll be able to do much to stop
He
this
can
point
lurk,
going across. This is going to be 7 minutes in the time bank. The Morningstars have got to hold them off.
Hang on a minute, like Morningstars did have a sizable time bank of their own, so you can see
still fighting as well.
how well the defense can go in, and with that Coalescence topping everyone up, and Leaf getting the uppercut kill onto Sardis, goes in with the seismic slam, wants to stay alive. He hasn't got the meteor strike, he's going to drop it down straight onto Hidan, so hang on a minute, 7-minute time bank.
Nope.
Not quite enacted just yet. Morningstar's able to get out clutch defense off the back of one of Leaf's signature heroes.
Some nice changes to Ana as well, that when you send someone in and they get hurt, you pop that Ana boost on there, they get 300 bonus HP, and well, suddenly, well, 300 bonus HP, 300 HP of healing.
If it was bonus HP, we'd have another problem.
We'd have a 500 HP Genji. Nah, miss me with that. Stay away from me.
I'm thinking of the 800 HP Winston with damage reduction.
It's not so bad, but the nano boost onto a Genji is what will just be terrifying to deal with. Imagine that with Brigitte armor as well.
Oh.
Suddenly, like Ana Zarya shield, you could probably get him near enough to about 1,000 HP of effective health, but here comes the EMP from Caspir.
Gonna be knocking him down. Leaf immediately taking him down. If he's affected by that EMP, he can't fade away, which is Moira's best tool against the Doomfist, flying off the top rope at you. Rocket Punch puts Zeke back into the corner for someone else to come and clean up. Exoraf there to get that kill. Another shutdown from Morningstar, so it was looking very shaky. Like I said, their 7-minute time back was potentially on the cards for the point B offense of HSL Esports. They now need to capture point A with 1 minute 45 on the clock.
Yeah, now it's down to potentially 5 minutes and 30 seconds available to push that point, which although it's only a minute and a half, it can be quite substantial when you're waiting for the right situation or the right conditions to pull off a big combo to win that entire point and win out the map. Leaf is being a bit of a monster so far in this Doomfist in the whole series. Very aggressive, but always getting out as well at the end.
I think one of the only things we've got to ask is, when we get a moment, is why is the Sombra Doomfist so effective against the Goats composition? That is before, of course, Malzaza gets taken out by Hidan and shuts it down altogether. But Zeke's got that Graviton Surge. He really doesn't want to have to use it now and wants to hold onto it to the point B to carry on the momentum play, and his team is cleaning up for the time being. So he's going to be able to hold on to that grab and, like I said, go with momentum and hopefully capture this one while Morningstars is trying to mount their own defense, right?
It was a good 2-minute hold out of Morningstars in what looked to be a losing situation. They've still got all these ults online, but to quickly answer your question, Sombra, EMP, Doomfist, in, kill someone, straight back out again.
Easy said, easy clap. Malzaza going to jump up and down. 6 ults online for Morningstars, and they've got to wait for HSL to aggress. Coalescence already being used by Hidan, so has to build that up quickly. See that? Tech36 denied Malzaza getting anyway. Tried to chase him and boop him out of the sky a little bit with the rocket boost. Just get in the face of those tanks, let him know he means business, and Leaf just staring at him through the window, just waving at him. Going, hi, anytime soon, come near me, I'm going to punch you. Don't do it. EMP going in onto the back line, and that's exactly where Leaf's going to head. Dragon Eddie, Casper getting the kill. Zeke takes out Malzaza. Meteor Strike could shut down Zeke. He can save his comrade, but not himself. HSL Esports have to back out. They did hold on to their ultimates. They're going to be able to try again, and Hidan now going over to that Zenyatta. Going to have a lot of ult to build up.
I mean, the EMP from the Sombra is pretty obvious, but I think with the Doomfist as well, you have to expand a bit, because he does go in, but it's also the additional shield he gets, because diving in, you can get stunned by the Brigitte, but it's not that long a stun. You can still get out once you've earned all that potentially, 150-odd bonus shield you get from...
basically, he ends up with a HP bar that's 400 HP big enough.
Exactly, because you catch one with the ability, and it gives you a whole ton of shield. Before you know it, no one can hurt your normal health because you have that many shields on top of you. If a Zarya bubbles you too, good luck killing him.
Hell, why not throw an armor pack from Brig in there as well?
Yeah,
really add some flavor to it. Graviton Surge holding Malzaza together. That was Dezachu committing the nano boost to that as well.
No.
And Zeke and Hadan have taken out multiple members. That's 3 down for Morningstars. The point is all theirs to take. They just need to make sure they're clearing bodies off faster than they're able to respawn out. Here we go. They get into the half. There will be some resistance from Morningstars. They have time to get bodies on the point, but that Orb of Discord doesn't shut down Dragon Eddy fast enough. The self-destruct, however, will do the trick. Tech36 dropping one of his own. Stun was there to deny any retreat from Casper, but they've got bodies on the point to contest HSL Esports. The job is done. They're fighting back. Dragon Eddy taking out Sardis, leveling it back out. Tech36 finding Malzaza. That's his 2nd kill of the fight. They're cleaning up, but I don't know if they're doing it fast enough, Des.
They're still trying to push their way back in. Out comes the Graviton Surge. This could be the end of it there.
They're going to clean him up.
Zeke has got 4
No,
kills.
here comes Leaf coming in with the Doomfist, shutting them down. Malzaza as well. Meteor Strike cancelled out by that Transcendence. As Malzaza going to fly around. No one from HSL was on the point while Malzaza was flying about. Orb of Discord going to take him out. Here comes Dragon Eddy with the stagger. Immediately taken out. They can't stop him. A couple more bodies on the point. They're just staggering out of spawn, but not fast enough. HSL Esports not ready to lose this series yet.
That was terrifying because Caspier, when he got stunned and died there in that very final fight on the Sombra, he popped EMP, but it didn't go off because he got stunned as it was coming off as well. That's just how close that was to potentially being held on by Morningstars. But HSL, now we've got a series in our hands. It's 2-1. If they win the next map, we have to go to map 5.
You hate to see interactions like that. Any ults being cancelled is very sad for the player who presses the Q. It's not just Brigitte, there's lots of other options. It's mainly Brigitte today. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you map number 4. series isn't over yet. There is a chance for HSL Esports to still be the victor. They just have to win map 4 and then a tiebreaker map 5. The only thing standing in the way, Morningstar's map pick. It's going to be either Dorado or Route 66 coming into this one, and it's up to them. Dorado is where we're going to potentially finish this series if Morningstars are as comfortable on this map pick as they would elect to be by choosing it.
I remember the days when Dorado was all about Pharah, Widow, and all kinds of wonderful sky-based stuff and long-range stuff, but obviously times have changed. It'd be nice to see some mix-up, I think, and we have already seen that from teams today a couple of times. So why not bring it out here, guys, and show us what you're made of? Or play May. Love seeing May. Had a lot of May the last couple of weeks. Winstrike, the greatest offenders of that.
They're up next, aren't they?
They are.
Next. Ooh.
In for a chilly end to the evening.
Potentially, they do love their May.
They do.
And Morningstars, HSL, still need to get through this one yet. Des, like I said, it might even go to a 5th map
They're
period.
listening, Tridd.
HSL,
listening.
No, he's not listening. Don't start putting accusations of like stream sniping in here. He hasn't got the stream up. I don't think I'm breaking anyone's image of this by saying there is actually a delay, so it'd be impractical for him to listen to the stream.
You're listening to our former selves right now. It's a bit weird, not existential, but we'll go with it. Morningstars then, actually rolling out something a bit different for this map, bringing out the Sombra and the Doomfist. Normally something we see on Hanamura, we saw a little bit on the last map as well, Horizon. HSL rolling out the gates with the tried and trusted, trusty Monkey Goats.
They've been moving forward. Of course, they have the ability not opting with that Moira this time. That's a solo dive from Progi. I don't know what he's hoping to achieve there.
I think he was relying on a lot of the shields coming out the back end of his team to keep him alive, but it just didn't really pay off for him.
1v6, those shields aren't going to do that much, right?
Literal 1v6, yeah.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate for Progi. He is right next to the spawn room. That's the upside. Silver lining, shall we say. Going to get him back out into the field quickly. Just up and down with the lightning. Gives him a quick brush in with the Tesla cannon. And drops back down to the field. Slow progress being made. It is now being contested by Morningstars as they're getting some bodies on the point. Leaf just hiding up here, ready to drop that elbow onto someone who decides to get a little bit cheeky and not respect the Doomfist. Moving around, there's the Monkey going up onto the high ground, trying to get that free charge because they assume there's going to be counter-attack. That's why you put the barrier, especially if you're in a safe mode here when you know Morningstars aren't coming at you full tilt.
Nanaboost onto the Doomfist, trying to get in the backline, brings down Zeke with one punch to the back of the head. Everyone else needs to be walking away pretty much safely for now, but sometimes one pick is all it takes, Tridd, and they will get the fight reset.
And it stops in quite good position here for Morningstars. That choke under the bridge, very advantageous to kill the payload. You don't want to let it be too early or too far through there, especially when you start to open up the map a little bit more. EMP wants to shut down even more of the HSL offense. It's going to come down. Self-destruct for Dragon that he's ready to use in the next fight. Transcendence by Hidad keeps everyone topped up. They're going to try and push forward again, try and break this chokehold the Morningstars have over the payload, and I think they've done just that.
Absolutely, and it's more a case now trying to see if they can get a pick up with this potential self-destruct, at least halt the advance out of HSL. Right now, though, they're rolling over the whole team. There's no response coming out of Morningstars. HSL should have this. Very
aggressive emergence from HSL Esports to run straight into Morningstars.
Stop, Sardis, please.
Stop, please! Observers change.
Oh, that's how you play Brigitte, right? You just spam keys and your mouse buttons and move your mouse around very fast and people die, right?
That's what a lot of people would have you believe, Des. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
It's mashing your face into the keyboard, and somehow you always win. It's beautiful.
It's not always the case, unfortunately. HSL Esports going to press forward, and we're on identical compositions.
We are. The mirror matchup coming back in. This is where we can talk about it a bit more. A bit different here, but what you'll see is both Reinhardt's using the walls and corners they've got. That is when Dragon Age is trying to self-destruct first.
Sound barrier is there, and I think a lot of people jumped into cover. Castle being kept alive by that Transcendence, dropped out by Exoraf. One of the advantages of just having him on the map a lot earlier than a lot of these other changes. Keep him topped up. Hidan's got Transcendence of his own as they're pushing forward. Another chokehold they're trying to avoid for Morningstars here. We talked earlier about how chokes are advantageous for a defensive team or people who have a defensive position. They're forcing you to run through a narrow space into their environment. And Leaf going to capitalize on that by taking out Sardis.
Yep, firing out that shot and catching him at range as well. Bringing him down will force HSL back, at least momentarily. Morningstars winning out the best in this head-to-head so far. Mousats are about to get the Earth Shadow online as well, but at least not too far away from having the Brigitte on as well. Always good to layer that armor underneath the shield of Exoraf, because that way, even when he gets hit on top of the shield, it still gives you the damage negation.
An interesting mechanic interaction between shield and armor. Would be even more of a nightmare if Symmetra didn't get reworked and she just kept giving shields to everyone, apparently. But we live and learn as the Transcendence will keep HSL Esports alive. And Zeke, Progi, Sardis are about to hit that point, as well as Ashkoff. with that sound barrier of his own, and the armor is coming in very thick for HSL Esports.
Just start the race now, or potentially they're trying to come
Look at that interruption with the shatter coming out from Malzahar, stopping the aggression to capitalize on that potential grab situation that HSL Esports had coming out for them. They're being pushed back around this choke, 2 minutes 30 on the clock, and they still haven't broken this foothold that Morning Stars have entrenched for themselves.
Like we mentioned earlier on the series, keep an eye out for those batter?
You're thinking of lunch, you're thinking of dinner.
Shatters is what we're looking for. I'm not thinking of batter. What? I'm thinking of bash shatters coming out as the combo of Brigitte. In that case, Eric completely missed, which is why that Earth Shadow was eaten up by the shield. Another one.
Speaking of consumption, I believe we just saw it eat an ultimate. No, Casper got it out, unfortunately. Keeps everyone there locked together. One fight could well be. Tridd going on to Zeke. We're going to get that kill, unfortunately, as he's stunned up. Casper moving back around the corner. Here comes HSL. They've broken the chokehold. They're sitting in a Transcendence from Exoraph to guarantee everyone gets out of that one safely, but they're giving up a lot of ground now. They're moving around the side of the church. They might be able to stop it right out front the door, though.
Yeah. You remember that fight from about 80 seconds ago? Caspier burnt his grab surge, Hidan answered with the trans.
Yep.
The time when Caspier used it there, Hidan was at 98%, so he wasn't quite there to use it to block the grab out. It was almost a race being going back and forth, but in that case, got eaten out. Zeke's ultimate has now been eaten. That's offline for them, but they're still going for it.
They're going to still commit to this one with the self-destruct coming out early. Rally's still there. Look at the low HP from Progi. He's got the Earth Shatter. There's the Transcendence coming in from Hidan. Keeps him topped up. Graviton Surge. That was not eaten as well. We just had 2 back-to-back being consumed by the hungry Divas. Leaf taking out Sardis. Going to stop anything coming out from HSL Esports. And now it's all about damage control. I think that's one thing we need to highlight, Des, is when you know it's a lost fight and you want to get out, you want to avoid this entirely, giving over more ult charge, staggering yourself with those late deaths and not coming out as a coordinated unit. It really does play into the hands of Morning Stars and lets them keep control of the map.
Well, HSL threw a lot at Morning Stars there as well. Even after the grab got eaten, they threw out the self-destruct, they came out with the Transcendence, everything was there on top just to throw in, and yet they got nothing from it. They got pushed all the way back. So now their ultimate banks are looking pretty empty. They've got maybe 1, maybe 2 here, both support ultimates online. On the other side, they've got basically 4 ultimates to play with. Morning Stars should be able to end it here and punish that mistake out of HSL.
No, if you are above the payload, you can be shattered through the payload, unfortunately, and Morning Stars not quick enough to be able to capitalize on that one. Graviton Surge pulls them in as they aggress forward. Self-destruct over the top. Exoraph has already found Progi, so there's no shield. That gives a double kill for Dragon Eddie as the rest of Morning Stars will press through onto HSL with 5 seconds remaining. That final fight is enough to end their offensive attempt right here. Not a very large benchmark to hit there for Morning Stars.
And that was a great example for Morning Stars doing something a bit different to end out that round. The Graviton Surge came through, and rather than saying, let's shield bash the Ryan so he can't use a shield, let's just kill the Ryan instead to make sure he can't use his shield.
Just kill Ryan, lol.
Just kill Ryan, forehead, absolutely. The problem was, Hidan, again, that Transcendence was just on cooldown, so he couldn't use it to keep the Ryan alive. It did come up, but by then they'd already lost 3 members, and HSL fell apart. So in those final 2 fights, HSL being punished on the sheer fact that they used the Transcendence earlier on to match the ultimate out of Caspier, and they felt that effect 2, maybe 3 fights later on.
It was a constant tug of war between enemy Zarya, friendly Zenyatta, and vice versa. It's who can cycle those grabs up, because if you miss this, if you get out of sync and you're unable to answer a grab or a Transcendence, you've got problems, because there's a lot of damage that can come out of a team if they're coordinated enough to capitalize on it. We're talking high energy Zaryas, we're talking about Reinhardt's getting multiple enemies with a singular hammer swing. It's going to build up ult fast, get damage across the board. You need that Transcendence to shut down that combo. It's such a finite interaction that needs that answer.
Well, Zarya does, even with the Discord up on there as well, you're looking at a substantial amount of damage, 19, 19, 38, 57. She's dealing out almost 250 damage a second when there's a Discord orb onto someone, absolutely. So all you got to deal then is an extra 53 damage, say from a Ryan swing coming through. That will out-damage what a Zenyatta is doing with his Transcendence. It depends, of course, or is assuming the Zarya is constantly firing. It's very easy to burn through Transcendences, and you can even split it with a shield in the middle and stop it healing through that shield.
That's some micro stuff that comes into it where you can try and get that block in.
Magical
but if you're shielding, you're not swinging the hammer. So you've got to value up what you really want to do here. Depends on what type of Reinhardt you are. HSL Esports taking the fight straight to Morning Stars. No variation here as they're running with that head-to-head composition, both running traditional goats.
Standard stuff now. It's going to be a case of just a swing fest into each other. Who dies first? In this case, it looks like it's Proggy. He's getting chased down by the Diva, but does just about make it out alive.
was going very low as well. He had that Orb of Discord on him as well, so he's going to be burned through slightly faster. Casper taking out Zeke, and well, this is going to be the fight one for Morning Stars because they're missing so many of the core components that make this composition work, and they're not going to get held up at this first initial choke. This is huge for them and their time bank.
Extra 30% ahead on his ultimate, but Sardis managed to get to that rally incredibly quickly, more ahead than almost anything else. Just Exoraf, the mad fragger himself on that Zenyatta doing work to get the trans online. They have this here if they really need it, but as it stands right now, not really necessary.
While the rally is important, I somehow feel the transcendence is even more so.
Yeah,
so I know who I prefer to be in this situation. There's a rally being popped, Leaf already going down. So this should be a one fight for HSL Esports. It's about how much Morning Stars wants to commit to this, and they're smart enough to identify. Hang on a minute. Leaf and Mount Zaza have gone down with ultimates. Let's just wait. We've got time.
Yeah.
All right. They know the benchmark for victory is not that great.
Yeah, I think in that case, Morning Stars, even with the trans online, were just happy to take the L and back up. Well, I can't believe I've just said that.
Take the L.
Why have I just said that?
Do you feel hip?
I feel like
a disgusting
young? Human being.
Are you down with the kids now, Dad?
Apparently so. How do you do, fellow kids? Give me a cap and a skateboard, let's go. But no, they were happy to take the loss in that fight. Exorath holding on to the Transcendence because now they can push back in with 5 or 6 ultimates. And let's not forget, they haven't got to get very far through the second stage of this map and they win.
The amount of times we keep mentioning that, I don't think they are going to forget. But they're going to move forward.
Gotta remind everyone.
With that Earth Shatter, playing it around that fountain. Third person peeking as well. If he holds the shield up, he can see much further around and has a wider field of view. Rather than the finite first person, there's a swing round the corner. Let's find that angle. Look at this. Graviton Surge holds them together. There's the charge to take Malzaza out of the way. Will enable Dragon to get the shot. Hang on a minute. What's this Proggy? Not to be determined. Not to be shut down by Malzaza. Comes in with the Earth Shatter. And the big swings of that hammer. Proggy winning it out for HSL Esports. Team kill. 1 minute 30 on the clock.
It's not the first time you feel like maybe we should change HSL's Twitter tag instead of Gone Wild to ProgChamp. You know it. Guy's a hero at the best of times. They're landing one completely unassisted as well with the Earth Shatter onto the enemy team. Gives them a huge advantage. Morning Stars burnt 2 ultimates in that fight. They've lost that Graviton Surge into self-destruct combo. Now they'll likely be trying to play for the Basher. Keep an eye on where Leaf is and keep an eye on the barriers on the side of HSL.
Leaf's actually playing around the interior. He was going for the flank, but they caught him onto it. Yeah, they caught it onto him and they made him move back round with the team. Graviton Surge pulls off 2 isolated members. Self-destruct over the top, moving in with the Transcendence, keeps everyone alive. But apart from Leaf, you can't heal through the explosive damage. You need to protect yourself. And that's exactly what Leaf didn't do. Burning more of this time. 50 seconds remaining for Morning Stars.
Morning Stars had 6 ultimates online, and they're in a situation now where they have potentially one final fight to win this out. HSL have got almost 4 ultimates online for themselves. Hidan being the big one I'm looking out for. That trans will be the big savior for them, as long as he doesn't get hit by
Jam again! Answers with the sound barrier. They weren't able to follow up with it, but it doesn't mean the shatter wasn't big for Mr. Proggy. Going to move forward. Malzaza's got his own, throws it down. Nice shielding at the last second to keep everybody up. Protected barriers. Reinhardt shield. These are your bread and butter to stop this all. And Des, you're right. They're close to Casper's Graviton Surge and a Transcendence from Exoraf if they need to. But they might be doing this in overtime because there's about to burn down. Proggy's taken out. Leaf. What's going on here? Graviton Surge from Casper keeps them together. This is Morning Stars going on the offensive. The Transcendence was a little bit much from Exoraf, but they're going to push forward, get that extra 1 minute 30 to not move very far. I do think they overcommitted with that Transcendence from Exoraf, though. I think they're not having it for next fight. Could be big for HSL.
I know you meant 2.5 minutes, Tridd, don't worry. 1.5 minutes for the third point, 2.5 for that one there. Forgive you. Maths is hard. Don't worry.
Not for you, apparently.
Hey, man, I'm commenting after I've seen the number go up, so don't worry about it. It's easy for me.
Slight lapse of judgment, ladies and gentlemen.
So on the other side then, Morning Stars now. They've got 2 minutes to push just round this corner. This isn't far to go at all.
And yet again, Morning Stars avoid the choke hold.
Yes, and this is much harder to defend than what it was a second ago. Huge shatter again!
Oh, Malzaza catches them in the transition. That's surely going to be the map off of one big shatter coming out from this madman.
We said you got to keep an eye out for those Brigitte shield bashes into the Earth Shatters. You've just seen the one that is going to win them this game. Only a few minutes to go. HSL know there is no way of touching it. Morning Stars take the series 3-1.
It's about capitalizing on the urgency. We saw it on Hollywood. It happened right there again on Dorado. So, well,
But it can come down to sometimes small little plays like that. And that map was very, very heavy, much more so than the other maps when it came down to the shield bash and shadow combos. We saw a few Graviton Surge and self-destruct combos come out, but none really were super influential for the most part. Just these two huge tank players going at it. Progi
and Malzahn, two of the big Reinhardt players. Just the Reinhardts are more visceral, right? There's still a lot of skill that goes into playing Winston.
Huge square shield, massive character model. Wide area of effect ultimate. Yeah, can't really miss it.
Yeah, and as opposed to the primal raise that just jumps in there and maybe gets a kill, but it's more about the displacement. Yeah, exactly. Just throwing those hands around everywhere. I've done enough throwing of hands for now. We're going to throw it over to our analyst to break down that series.